Has a client underpaid you and you're not really sure what to do about it? Whether you should raise another invoice for the difference in price or whether you should just leave it as is? This video is for you. During this session, I'm going to walk through how to reconcile an underpayment, what to do with the remaining invoice value, whether you should be raising a second invoice for that different value, and how you could chase in that remaining balance. So starting on the dashboard screen, what we're going to do is go into our bank account and have a look at that underpayment. So clicking on bank account and reconcile, I can see that my customer has paid me 1,200, but there's no green box here. So there isn't an invoice that matches this value and customer. So what we're going to do is click on match, and then we're going to look for our Burton Academy account. And I can see that I have an invoice for this customer for 1,500. So they've not paid me £300. In this instance, I want to reconcile the payment and make sure my books are correct. So first of all, click on the box, and then where it says split, we want to split this invoice to allocate this payment. So we click split. And if you wanted to not put all of this payment through on this invoice, maybe there's another invoice, then you might want to change this value. Otherwise, Xero pulls in the full value that you have been paid, and then you just click split. And as we can see, that then pulls through an item that says the invoice still has £300 remaining. However, we've now got this green box and we're ready to reconcile this one payment. So we click OK and confirm. So from here, right now, the customer still owes me more money. What do I want to do? You don't want to re-raise an invoice, because if we go on over to our invoices, we will see that we still have that value of £300 on our invoice. So raising another invoice effectively duplicates this £300. So unless you're planning on credit noting this invoice and re-raising a new one, there's no point raising another invoice. And because the description is likely to have exactly why you've charged them 1,500, you don't want to raise another invoice and you want to keep it on just this one. So no is the answer to raising another invoice. If we want to then chase the client for this invoice, there are some really good functionalities in Xero already. So if you haven't already, you can turn invoice reminders on, and this reminds all of your clients, not just this one. So make sure that you are happy to turn this on for everyone. And you need to also bear in mind, when you turn it on, you are then telling every client this many times that they have an invoice to pay. So if you're reconciling, for example, and you don't look at your bank account let's say every 14 days, and you're reconciling every 15 days, your clients are going to get chased when maybe they have paid you. So in that instance, you want to remove this 14 days overdue. So to do that, we click on it and we can either delete it, or we could change it and we could say, actually, let's just say I need 15 days to reconcile. So every 18 days, I want them to be chased. And then we change that to 18 and click save. And now every single customer is going to be chased 18 days when an invoice is overdue, like 18 days overdue, or 21, and then 21 days as well. So again, if you've then got 18 and 21, that might be a bit close together. So you might want to change this 21, or you might want to delete it. So click delete there. But just remember, this goes to all of your clients. So if this is not right and you don't want it on, you need to turn it off. Another option for chasing in clients, though, is you could always send them a statement, and this is showing every single invoice that you've raised that shows how much money they owe you. And this is ideal when it's more than just the one invoice, because if we were to say, let's just send the one invoice to them, you could tick this box and then click email, and then you can enter their email address in here and then click send. And then the client has been sent that specific invoice, and it shows them there is an outstanding balance of £300. And that's great. But that also means you're sending the invoices individually. So do you want the client to pay you individually for every single invoice, or do you want just the one payment? So sometimes not sending the invoice individually isn't what we want to do, and instead we want to send a statement. So we come on over here and click Send Statements. And this is where we can decide what we want to send. I'm going to send from the 1st of April, and I want all activity. So this is going to show all invoices that have been paid, but also those that are still remaining. And that's my activity. But if I only showed outstanding, then this will only show me those clients that are outstanding payments. So for example, the DT group, we can see that I have all of this activity going on. And overall, I am entitled to £848 from them. If, however, we change this to an outstanding only and then click Update, that will then show the invoices only, so it doesn't show any of the payments they've given me, and it only shows the amount that is due right now. And that is that balance. So again, I can click this email button and then put in their information and then click Send. And now the client has a statement showing every single invoice that they owe me money to. And this is a really ideal thing to do when you are maybe setting up a new invoice and you're about to bill them for that. But again, you just don't want them to forget. Maybe it's only a couple of pounds and you don't want them to forget because you are entitled to that money. All those pounds add up. So a statement is maybe an ideal solution for you. And that's basically it. That's how to see a underpayment and then a statement and how to chase for reminders. Now, if we have then received the money, so now it's all gone through, the client's been chased, I now have the money back from the client. What we can then do is go back onto our bank account and find the payment that they've now given us. In this instance, I haven't set up a new invoice yet, but what I can do is have a look at what I would start doing. So I have this amount received. I can click on the match button. And then down here, so again, I'm just going to put the filter on to make it easier to see, but down here is the invoice remaining balance. So I can click on that one and that will allocate the £300. However, I'm still missing an invoice at the moment. So maybe they've overpaid me and I haven't set up the invoice yet. And in this instance, if you haven't set up the invoice, what you could do is go over to New Transaction, click Receive Money, and officially what you should do is change this direct payment to prepayment. So prepayment means the client has paid me ahead of time instead of an overpayment where I plan to return the money back to the client. I like to use the overpayment section though because I find it a little bit easier in Xero invoicing when allocating it. There's maybe one step you need to do using overpayment, but prepayment there's about 2 steps. So I just like to do the quick way and use overpayment. So then I'm going to effectively count this additional money as money I've received and I don't need to do anything with just yet. And then I'm going to click Save Transaction. And now I can reconcile that full balance. And then click OK and confirm. So now it's another day and I'm getting ready to create my invoice in. So I know that I need to raise an invoice for this piece of work that I've done, and we can see this balance that we've just reconciled is already in here, ready and waiting. So if I were to click New Invoice, and I'm going to bill the Burson's Academy, I can then say, I did some, content creation, let's say. And that was the 750. That is the full amount. Put the due date in. But already what we can see is there's £750 credit available for this client. So before I even email the client, I can allocate that 750 and then I can look at whether I need to send the client the invoice at all. So I'm not going to click approve an email. Instead, the drop down box and click approve. And then it automatically tells me, it says this, do you want to apply the credit? Of course I do. So let's apply credit. So then I'm going to type in how much credit to apply. In this instance, it's the full thing. Click apply. And there you go. Now we've accounted for the underpayment and then when it was an overpayment. So these are both really common things I see in businesses, and this is just the way I personally find it helpful to account for it. I do hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow along for more helpful top tips at Burton's Academy. I'll see you at the next one.